Hi everyone, my name is Milind Bhargava. I'm the founder and CEO of Mjolnir Security. With me, I've got Gentry. Gentry and I have worked together for last maybe 10 years. I started Mjolnir about 2017. I've been doing a lot of digital forensics, incident response work, and so on. And that's roughly where my specialty also lies. And recently, we completed our 500 DFIR engagement, which is quite remarkable in itself because we have been doing IRs at almost 100 per year kind of a thing. Barring the Russia-Ukraine war, it's actually been a pretty good run. So, Gentry, could you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah, well, I think first off, congratulations on 500 incident responses. That's a pretty incredible achievement, given that most of the work that you're doing is in Canada. So you and I have known each other since prior to you starting Mjolnir, but been able to work together since 2017 over the last 7 years. And I've been around the Western Canadian cybersecurity landscape now for just about 10 years, and so helped Mjolnir access some clients in Western Canada through some different organizations that I've been with, and had some great experiences working on incident response, forensics, some Anton pillar orders, and some other things that have come up in the place. And so Mjolnir has been an incredible partner to work with.
Thank you, Gentry. So, in the past, let's say 10 years since we have started to know each other and working together and so on, how would you say the security landscape has changed in Canada, say from our days working for that ISP till say now?
Yeah, I think it's changed an awful lot. I think when we look back to, the 2015, 2016, 2017 days, it was very much technology focused, where organizations were looking to buy a specific technology to solve a cybersecurity problem. Obviously, back then, budgets were very easy to come by, and so organizations were able to amass a very large assortment of security tools. And the bigger the organization, obviously, they were able to buy the most premium products, and they were able to have a broad amount. And I think what we're seeing in the last few years is that consolidation now more onto platforms, reducing the number of tools, finding platforms that can do more. Certainly, we're seeing a lot of organizations want to consolidate onto Microsoft, but there's some other platforms, Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, some others that organizations are really looking to leverage. And I think the other big change has been around the way that organizations view risk. I think back when we first met, it was all about cyber risk, and it was about addressing cyber risk within the silo of cybersecurity. And now organizations are seeing it more as an enterprise risk, and they're dealing with risk on a holistic scale. I think some of the massive incidents that have taken place in Canada have taught organizations that even though their entire organizational systems have been down, they've still been able to produce their product. They've still been able to market that product and sell that product. And that's changed the way that we view risk, because even though the IT systems have been down, organizations were still able to conduct business. And so that's changed the paradigm of the way that CIOs and CISOs look at risk, and they're judging it more from an organizational perspective rather than just, we have to prevent cyber risk within this silo. And I think also that platform consolidation on tools like Microsoft and others has changed that, as well, as organizations are looking to do more with reduced budgets. They're having to do more with reduced headcount, and so they're looking for better ways and more efficient ways to do things. And that certainly changed the way that organizations buy, consume, and implement cybersecurity tool sets.
So, let's say if we were to pick the top five things that will allow a company to get breached, what have you seen since the last, say, again, 5 years, 10 years kind of a thing?
Yeah, unfortunately, patching really hasn't gotten a whole lot better in the time that we've been in the space, or for me anyways. I still think a lot of organizations struggle with a patching program. So as basic as that is, that identification and patching program still it presents a massive amount of risk for organizations. I think COVID was fantastic in bringing about a move to the cloud and a move to work from anywhere. But not everybody was able to keep up with network architecture and design to support that. So there's still a lot of flat networks out there. There's still a lot of legacy design in terms of VLANs and the way that like network topology is created out there, which is also creating a lot of risk. I think also, as organizations have gone through this cycle of insourcing and outsourcing, there's a lot of lack of documentation around where things actually stand. And so there's a lot of unknowns where an organization believes that they're secure, and that they've, done everything to secure themselves, but there is a big unknown as they've transitioned between different MSPs or ISPs or managed partners or co-managed. That's created some challenge as well. And then I think we're doing much better today in getting a handle on, that shadow IT idea of departments or things spinning things up. I think there's a lot of tool sets out there that are helping organizations get a better handle on that, but certainly that does create some challenge. And then I think lastly, it's still incident response. I think organizations have plans, but I don't know that we're practicing them as much as we should. And so when we get into an incident, even though there's a plan, even though there might have been some effort done on that, it's still an incredibly stressful situation. It's still a very challenging time. And I think not all organizations are able to execute based on the plan, or they're finding out in that heat of battle that the plan, wasn't maybe as robust as they thought it was. And so that's causing some massive disconnect. And great learning opportunities, but certainly not where you want to find yourself, as an IT leader in the midst of an incident where your entire playbook falls apart and you're left scrambling. It is great to work with a partner like you that can help come in and close those gaps and help remediate that, but certainly not as an IT leader where I think you'd want to be. So I'd say I think a lot more testing and practice of those playbooks would be a great way to mitigate that.
And personally and professionally, from a business point of view, I would say that I was expecting during COVID our business to actually slow down in terms of less number of people having issues, kind of thing. But as you mentioned, as people started working more from home, more things are open up for remote access, often not specifically done with security in mind. And as a result, our IR work actually increased during COVID. From a time expecting to tell a client that we're busy stuck in traffic, we can't get on a call. Now the clients knew we were at home, we were available to work. So we'll work from 7 in the morning till often 10 in the night, and it'll just go on 7 days a week. The things that we learned during COVID, mostly for the IR part of things, was most organizations, when they say they have zero trust, they actually mean they have zero security. We have seen organizations that are a few thousand employees have something called a DMZ, which is a demilitarized zone, meant for access to public facing systems and so on, but actually be open to everything in the internal network. So someone connected to the DMZ could hypothetically connect to the entire organization. Those things gave rise to more challenges, such as ransomware at that point. Because now, imagine a contractor who has access to a DMZ will leave simple passwords and so on, or may not have an antivirus because budget or any other issues and so on. They will get infected by ransomware. And when they connect to a client's network, the client is going to get infected by ransomware. So these kind of things open a lot from the business point of view, but also from the security point of view in general. So in the end, with each client that we had that was more work from home with a certain shift from all in present in the office kind of thing, it's definitely gotten harder for them to have as good a security as they had when it was completely on-prem and locked down. Now, most servers are accessible online. Anyone can access them from anywhere kind of thing, which has also opened up security risk. How many things do people leave open? How many times do people share passwords? How many of those passwords are reused and breached as part of other third-party breaches and so on?
Yeah. Well, and I think through COVID, I think it was also challenging as everybody struggled to put their kids through online school with no warning. And so if you didn't have enough devices in your house, I think there was a high probability that corporate devices that were supposed to be only for work use were getting used to keep kids in school and try to get things done, which enhanced that risk, right? Because now you've got all sorts of applications and things being installed. And I think one of the things that I would say is that ability for a user to have full admin control over their device, that proved to be a bit problematic, right? Because we were downloading and installing applications. We might have had other users on that device, and I'm sure no one's going to admit that this was the case, but we had other users on those devices that were downloading and installing things, and that just enhanced that risk. And so, how do we maintain control over admin access within devices so that we're not having rogue applications installed, right? Just again, basic control things, but I think COVID taught us a lot of good lessons that I think a lot of organizations have learned from, and they've changed the way we went from everybody had full admin control over their devices to now that's very rare that a person has that. And I think that's one great step in trying to help close some of those gaps.
Well, thank you for your time today, Gentry. We'll catch up again to talk more about all the fun cybersecurity topics.
Awesome. Well, again, congrats on 500 IRs. I think that's been an incredible journey, and I'm sure there's many more great stories to come. So all the best in the future, Milind. Thanks so much for being a great partner.
Thank you.